Hello and welcome to another fabulous episode of Hey Girl. It's me, your host, Jordan. Do you hear that subtle, soft, dulcet tone in my voice? Well, bitch, it's that time of the fucking year. I used to get colds and lose my voice a lot more. Now that I've had the tonsil surgery, literally about a month ago, bitch, and I'm already sick. It's fine. I'm gonna be okay. Please keep me in your thoughts. Nothing's really wrong. I just like that you think about me because somebody has to. But it's that time of year. As of the time of this recording, Thanksgiving just happened. I want you to know that I didn't say anything to ruin Thanksgiving dinner. These are all probably lies. I probably will say something. I hope I do, actually, now that I think about it. It'll probably make it much more exciting. But I'm like in this weird thing where I'm trying to have a different guest every week for the entire year of 2023. And so far I have succeeded. It is now the end of November, bitch. And I have every single Monday in the year of 2023 had a brand new episode with a brand new guest. I have not repeated a guest since the episodes started. I think this is episode 84 or something. That's crazy. That is wild. Also, what else? Still seasonal depression, still doing all that. But I can see outside. I can see that there is sunlight and there is a world beyond these four walls, and I appreciate that. I'm not going to force you to sit through more of this any longer. I'm going to bring in my guest. Her name is Tiffany Vogue. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, that's me.
That's you. I'm just going to say, your outfit right now, you do look like an uncut dick, but one of the ones where the skin goes all the way past the head and it like has a little balloon knot, you know?
That was actually exactly what I was going for. I like to cosplay as penises, different variations of
Yes.
penises, while I sit alone in my living room. Some people knit. I do this.
That's great. I need to do that more. I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
think
enough turtlenecks, though.
just a hobby that sparks joy for you. You got to find what it is that gives you that motivation to get out of bed in the morning. Usually for me, it's just the desperate desire to pee.
You know what I do sometimes? And I was telling Joey about this. If I know I have to wake up or I don't want to sleep in and I need to wake up early, I will chug a bunch of water before bed because I know that the sensation of having to pee is going to wake me up and force me out of bed.
Honey, if I did that, I would have to pee 2 to 3, maybe 4 times in the middle of the night before I even ever had the opportunity to get up early in the morning.
That's
I have the
crazy.
tiniest little bladder, which is the worst for drag because you have like 6 pairs of tights on. You've got your dick taped away. You've got your balls shoved up inside your uterus. It is
Mm,
just such a chaotic. And then if you have nails on, which I never do because I never get paid enough to care that much. If I had
no.
nails on, I would be like tearing holes in my scrotum just to be able to pee in the middle of the gig. It's horrible with my tiny little bladder.
Yeah. Do you ever get sick of people offering you food and drinks while you're in drag?
I do. I'm like, stop doing that and offer me money.
Yes, that's the only thing that makes it better.
I did not pay for this wig with tacos from Taco Tuesday at Fiesta Cantina. I paid for it with
Oh,
money. So don't give me food. The venue should not be trying to, fluff up our contracts with food. They should be doing it with money. And if you're going up to a queen and offering to buy her a drink, stop yourself and hand her cash instead or Venmo her.
yeah. Or like a little baggie.
That happened at our
Oh my
show.
God, yes.
Remember?
So Tiffany and I host a monthly bingo at Temple in West Covina. If you're in the area, it's really fierce. The food is amazing. It's a great time. You all should come. It could be fun. I don't know. I'm just saying. We're now the last Wednesday of every month, right?
Well, it varies. We're changing it up. But if you follow either of us on social media, you'll see the flyers. We're always posting the flyers about when to come catch us in West Covina. And honestly, when else are you gonna have the opportunity to do some gay shit in West Covina? We're the only ones brave enough to
Yeah.
to, piss off the conservatives who live out there.
Yeah, I am the only gay shit in this area, so come see me.
Yeah.
And as of the time of this recording, well, this episode is going to be out on the 27th, and our next show is on the 29th in just 2 days.
Oh my goodness. How exciting.
Come see how my throat has progressed.
You're gonna be doing some opera singing for us at the show.
I might. I'm running out of lip syncs, so I might have to.
How often do you shave your cooch?
Oh, I don't grow very much hair, so I think maybe like once a month.
Oh, that's convenient. I feel like if I wait too long, it gets all prickly and
Yeah.
it's super uncomfortable. So I feel like you really got to either be on that shit or just not care about it at all.
Yeah, I just bought a skin lightening cream, and the label's written entirely in Spanish, so I know it's gonna work.
Oh, yeah, it's not regulated or anything.
No, I got it at a Walmart, and it says, I think it's like piel sana or something, and we'll see. I did shave, and then I put it on immediately after, and I regret that.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
You know how shit gets spicy when you shave.
Oh God. Yeah.
So we'll see. Have you ever done the bleaching?
No, but my boyfriend does, and it also works on like scars. So like if you get like injured in some way, you can always lighten up the scar with the anal bleaching cream.
But does the anal bleaching work on the stretch marks?
It might. I don't know. I've never tried that, but you should do a little experiment and you can get back to us.
Is that the title of this episode? Does the anal bleaching work on the stretch marks?
We're going to scientifically evaluate that claim. We got to hypothesize, and we got to have all those other steps in between.
Yes. Is our synthetic lace fronts part of the scientific method?
I like to think so.
I think so. I choose to believe. Yes.
Have you ever experimented? I want your opinion.
Uh-oh.
Would you rather eat a stinky ass or suck a cheesy dick? That's our experiment for today.
You know, is it bad that I would rather have the butt than the dick?
Ooh, girl, you gonna get double barrel pink eye.
Yeah, but I have drops. Like, I have a prescription drops on retainer just in case. So I would just go wash my face and put the drops in and just let them burn and tingle and then go to bed and I'd be fine.
Oh, God.
Because for makeup, like, I keep eye drops with me in my bag, especially when I travel. I always keep, like, different types of eye drops because I've been in situations where I've arrived to a gig and had an eye infection and been like, great, now I have to do an entire face of makeup. And I'm going to have to get rid of all my makeup now.
See, drag entertainers arrive with like Mary Poppins bags full of random shit. What's the craziest thing that you bring with you that if somebody found it in your bag, they'd be like, what the fuck is this and why is it here?
Oh, I have an eyedropper with like water in it because I do a fake apology video number
Right.
with fake tears. That's pretty weird. What else?
They'd probably be dropping it under their tongue trying to get high if they found that bottle of yours.
Yeah. I think it's G, bitch. I also keep a little bottle of rubbing alcohol to spritz.
Cute.
Because it sanitizes things. It also cleans your nails if you're going to put nails on. It also, if your jewelry is cloudy, because you know how sometimes with wear and like makeup it gets cloudy, you like squirt the front with rubbing alcohol and it gets shiny again.
Yeah. That's clever. I was taught by a more experienced senior queen that she always used toothpaste and like a toothbrush to clean her jewelry. And ever since she told me that, I do it all the time. And then you just rinse it under some hot water, and your jewelry that's all caked with makeup just shines like it's brand new. It's really, really great. So now I have a toothbrush and toothpaste in my bag, in my drag bag, but I never brush my teeth at the gig because
well, why start now? You know?
Yeah, you're gonna smell the tequila on my breath regardless.
Well, none of these girls are brushing their teeth. You're fine.
Hygiene. I think she's a downtown girl.
That's the shit with these drag queens is like some of these girls I'm like, oh my god, you smoke cigarettes and you haven't brushed your teeth or washed your tights in months?
That's part of the experience, though. The audience wants to be able to smell a little stank on their women and know that that's a man.
You
That's a
can't wash
man,
it.
Maury.
Girl, you can't clean it, it's gonna take away the flavor. Oof. That is
Your
horrible.
drag queen doesn't look like a woman and smell like a man. Is she even doing drag?
I guess not. I wash my tights, I think, every other gig, which I think
Yeah,
is more than most people.
I always use new tights. I wash my tights every time, and that's probably the biggest expense of my drag is because I'm like ruining a new pair of tights every single time. But the hip pads I use for like a whole week before I toss them in the wash because uh,
Ah.
those things are incredibly difficult to wash. They will tear up on you.
You put the foam pads into the washing machine?
Yeah, because think about it, it's like a sponge on your butt, and it's just soaking up all of your butt sweat.
Mmm.
So you wring it
I
out
just
into a
like
go-go
spray
dancer's
them.
mouth at the end of the gig.
You bring it into a shot glass for whoever wins that round of bingo.
I have been backstage and seen a go-go dancer who was so, and he's fine. He was fine, and he wrung out his underwear from dancing all night, and a puddle of sweat accumulated on the floor in the backstage area. And I am not gonna lie, the puddle was from me. I was so moist from watching all of that sweat
Yeah.
all out of his
Squirting.
undies. It was like a cup or two. It was like a gallon of ball sweat that he was walking around in the little G string of his.
I love the Go Go Boys. I find that as a queen, we end up becoming really good friends with Go Go Boys,
Because it's
which
lonely
is weird.
backstage and they
It
have the time
is.
with us.
Have you ever like, have you ever hooked up with a Go Go Boy?
I'm married to one.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow. So you really went in on the Go Go Boys. You said, I will
Yeah.
take you.
Yep. The first one I met, and I was like, this one will do.
I can only think of one that I've hooked up with, but he didn't recognize me when it
Mm.
happened.
Oh, that's convenient. I think it's really great that drag queens have like this secondary skin that we can exist in the queer community. And then
Yeah.
it's that much easier to walk around and find out that people are talking shit about you because they don't realize that they're talking shit about you to you.
Yeah. But there's now that I've been around long enough, it's harder for me to go places out of drag and people are starting to like they're starting to connect the dots.
Mm,
That and I am posting more like out of drag just because why not?
yeah.
But it does make it a little more complicated. And I get confused sometimes because these go-go boys will recognize me and they'll be so friendly and I'll confuse it for flirtatiousness and I'll think, oh wow, he likes me for me. No, he just worships the diva.
Somebody could have their hand in my pants and I'd be like, he's just being friendly.
Yeah, me too. I'm so bad at that. I go out and I have a friend that I always go out with who's like, that man is flirting with you. And I'm like, no, he's not. He just walked away. And he's like, yeah, because he didn't think you were flirting back. And I was just like, I don't know. Like a guy could tell me my butt looks nice and I'd be like, thank you. It farts really loud. Like, I don't know.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
gosh. Why? Why?
Well,
It's
it
hard.
takes practice, I suppose. You and I just need to practice being a little more flirtatious around people. I think that because we're in drag so often, we don't
Yeah.
view ourselves as like sexual objects. At least, like, I'm not the type of drag queen that does the nasty in drag because I just don't even know how that would work with all those pairs of tights. But after a
Never.
while, you just start to think of yourself as Ronald McDonald, and you don't really, you don't really consider yourself sexual
Yeah. It's
in
weird. It's also weird too going places and having people who like especially outside of drag experience is but
yeah.
like I mean specifically going in drag to places that don't typically have drag or are not gay clubs. Like I was invited to a concert recently. Have you ever had a pop star or like their management come and say, "Hey, we want drag queens at the show"?
Oh no, I haven't. Is this the Kesha one?
No, that one I heard was nice because
Oh.
one of the queens that was at the Kesha one was also with me at a different event
Mm.
prior, and it was very like they reached out and I was like, okay, well, what's going on? What do you need me to do? I originally thought they were going to have me perform, and then they didn't end up wanting that. And then they were like, yeah, we'll talk about pay later. And I was like, well, this is what I typically charge for a day.
Yeah, you
And
got
they
to
were
get that
like,
cash up front.
yes. And so they were like, oh, well, that's more than what the budget we have is. And I was like, okay, well, let's work something out. And then I just didn't hear from them until like the day before. And it was like, hi, Queens. We're so excited to have you all tomorrow night. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I couldn't see who else was on the email because it was like, hidden. And they gave me the call time and our like slot of what we were going to be doing. Not specifically, but I was like, okay, I guess we're going to be doing some sort of crowd work, whatever. And then I responded and I was like, hey, so is there a place for us to get ready? Because they put in the email, arrive ready. And I was like, I can't drive in drag like that. Like, I can't. Like, physically, with the hair and the corset and the heels, like, I can't. Even in flats, like, it's not something I'd be willing to do. And they were like, oh, no, it's best if you just arrive ready. And I was just like, okay. So now I have to coordinate, like, getting to somewhere nearby that's a friend's apartment, getting dressed there, Ubering to the venue, Ubering back, then driving home. And
Yeah,
they
you can't
still
really
were not.
sit up for a long period of time.
Yeah.
They're just gonna have to strap you to the hood like a deer.
Yeah. It was a rough situation. And then when we got there, they told us prior that we would be able to stay and watch the show. And then when we finished our work, we were like, okay, where should we go? And the person goes, oh, you can stand wherever you want. And I was just like, I've been in drag since 4 p.m. It is now past 9 p.m. I've been on my feet this entire time. And you want me to stand and watch a concert? I was like,
I
girl.
I like part of me is like this can't have been a good pop star because if this was like a Beyonce concert, they would have had budget to pay the queens that they want to make sure are there. They would have had like a place for the queens to sit. Like there would have been things involved, but it couldn't have been like a really terrible pop star, like someone that doesn't really matter because then you wouldn't have gone for like no guaranteed pay. So I'm just trying to think about
Yeah.
like is this middle ground pop star that you went to go see
I mean,
that
I'll tell
has
you who it
no
was.
budget and it was Justin Timberlake, wasn't it?
It was, yes. But what made it worse was that there were queens who were performing and who got to open the show, and they were given a nice dressing room, and they were allowed to see the show from like backstage, and like they had they had a bottle they were taken care of, and the rest of us were not. And so we kind of felt away because we saw, and I ended up seeing pictures of their area after the show, and I thought that that space is big enough where we all could have put our bags there.
Oh, oh my god, that pisses me off.
And
I hate
maybe we weren't all going to be in there at the same time because then it probably would have been a little crowded. But, like, one, we're used to that. And two, we all know each other and we're all friendly. So
yeah.
it wasn't like strangers. I don't
Mm.
know. It was weird. I ended up having to, like, kind of be a bitch. And I
Did
got
you
a
ever get
seat.
paid?
Not yet.
Oh my god, it
Stay
was
tuned.
recent.
Yeah.
Damn,
Stay
honey,
tuned, bitches.
you're gonna. I not too long. I've done projects. I've done projects that I was told I would be paid for and never paid for, and it is not fun because drag takes so much work.
It's
People when
so
they meet with the
much.
club or for example the venues, right? The venues they're like, oh well, we have you here for only 3 hours and we're paying you like $100. And so if you do the math and you add that up, it's $100 divided by 3, which is fucking like what, $33 an hour. And they're like, oh my god, you're making $33 an hour, you're so rich. It's like, no bitch.
No.
I
No.
was start I started painting 2 hours before I had to leave my home, and I did that for this event. So really, instead of the 33 hours, $33 an hour that they think that you're making, you're actually only making like 20. You're only making like $20 an hour. If the pay is $100, and usually it's not. It's usually 50 to 75 for a bit for a booking fee
Yeah.
in LA at least. Um, so if you're doing like the $50 gig, that's 5 hours of your time, and that's $10 an hour. Before taxes, if you pay taxes, if
Gorge.
you
And the wig alone costs 2 to 300.
well, yeah, well, that is a whole other barrel of monkeys, bitch, because that's like you can't even get into all that math because then it just starts getting depressing.
It's actually insane. And I've started like this in this situation, just being upfront, like when when private gigs or things reach out, I'm like, this is what needs to happen. And it's always interesting because they'll say no, but then they won't wanna like counter. They'll just sort of leave it alone and then
Because they know
like
there's a queen who will do it for free.
yeah, there is a crunchy bitch who will do it for free, and that's the sad part.
hmm Yeah, the thing with drag nowadays is it's so incredibly oversaturated. Everybody and their grandma's doing drag, and uh, and I think that there was a time in LA where you could make good money doing drag. Even just starting out, you could probably make good money doing drag, but that time is not now. I remember even just 10 years ago when I first moved here to LA, I would walk down the street and any drag queen at all that I saw, any drag queen, I would be starstruck by. I'd be like, oh my God, beautiful. I'm nervous to talk to her. I want to be her best friend. I want to get a photo with her. You didn't have to be a Rue girl, any drag queen. And nowadays, you people will walk past the most stunning drag queens serving looks, $1,000 looks, multi like such polished look, walk right past them like it's somebody asking for a handout. And people are just so tired of drag in LA. It's really depressing.
Well, that's why whenever I see you out, I make sure to walk by and go, "Sorry, sir, I don't have any spare change."
And then I go and slash your tires.
The gag is that you thought I could afford a car to begin with. I do drag.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
Oh my gosh. It is truly wild how shit is. I feel like that's all we talk about on my podcast. It's just queens being like, what is going on? Why? But you know what? That's why it's important to produce your own events, which is what you do very well.
I do it.
Well, okay. Tell me right now, like your week in drag, how many shows do you do a week?
It varies. It depends on the time of the season. I feel like the winter season is always the slowest because a lot
Yeah.
of the California people that live here, they're all abroad for Thanksgiving season and Christmas season and New Year's season. They're all going home to the Midwest where everybody's actually from, and they're visiting family. And then also, like, we just had the writers' strike that was going on and the actors strike,
Uh,
so like money was just down in general. That's like a huge part of the Los Angeles economy. So that was all happening. This is just generally a really slow time. There's all sorts of different events going on during the holiday season, so drag shows are really competing against every other possible thing that people could be doing right now. So during the slow seasons, like right now I have like maybe 2 gigs a week that I produce. And then if somebody else reaches out to me and wants me to be a part of their show, then that's great. But like I'm kind of past the point of being like, hey, I'm Tiffany Vogue and this is what I do and I
yeah.
want you to book me. Next month looking for bookings. Like that's I've been here for 10 years. I'm not going to be doing that. You know who I am. You know how to contact
Yeah.
me. You know what I provide. If you want to have me in your show, you're going to let me know. So right now I just have like 2 of my own shows a week that I produce. But during like the speedier, heftier seasons of the year, I'll be doing like 5, 6, 7, 8 events per week. It depends on the ebb and flow of things, but that's the natural nature of like a small business woman. You never
Yeah.
know. You're always fighting as an independent artist for that next booking.
Yeah. It's tricky, but I I feel for the girls who do the club gigs and are just like hustling through these $50 club gigs because it's hard, especially this time of year. I don't want to do a Christmas number. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think that there are creative ways around that. I think that you can do some sarcasm. Like if you hate Christmas, do a Christmas mix about how much you hate Christmas and really
Exactly.
enjoy doing it. Like you're only limited by your creativity. So I do a really really depressing Christmas number.
Ooh.
Where I perform Christmas shoes that like
Sir, I want to buy these shoes.
yeah, but I go around on my hands and knees begging for dollars as if my I need it for my dying mother. And people are just cracking up. And I love that like before you see me perform this song, it makes you cry every time. And then after you see me perform this song for the rest of your life, you're just laughing thinking about that drag queen crawling around on her knees begging for cash for her dying mother.
That's a bop. I once saw Rhea Latre, and she was like, it was a Christmas show, and she came out, and I heard like sleigh bells, and then
Mhm.
I heard like a Dua Lipa song, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And at the end of the number, she was like, girl, you want to do drag queen Christmas, you take a song and you put jingle bells on it. All she did was take that Dua Lipa song and she put jingle bells in the back, and it was Christmas.
That is fabulous. Genius.
I still think
Oh,
about that and I'm like, God, Rhea, that was brilliant.
Rhea has always been an icon for me. I'm a big fan of Rhea Latre. I don't know her personally very well, but she and Willem were like my two drag like icons that inspired me to start cross-dressing for a living and completely ruined my life. And now I'm here
You
here
know,
in LA.
here you are, and it's their fault.
Yeah, yeah. I always say that a drag addiction is like a drug addiction. It'll ruin your body and destroy you financially. And
Yeah.
I've achieved that.
Well, you're done. You can quit now,
Yeah,
please, if you don't mind.
I did what I've done. I did what I've come here to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had never even seen Drag Race. I was not introduced to the world of drag through Drag Race. And when I finally saw it, I was like, this just looks like a gay ass Japanese game show.
Yeah.
This is this is some random shit. This is bonkers. It's ridiculous. What
It
are
is
they making
crazy.
these drag queens do?
And then Rhea and Willem.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're not without flaw, I will
Well, I
say.
would say
But
no drag queen, especially in Los Angeles, are not
ooh,
without flaw.
ooh.
But I think that that's the thing where they like never meet your heroes because it's all downhill from there generally.
Yeah. I mean, I've done shows with Rhea and had a wonderful time,
Yeah.
you know. So, I don't know. I just go off of my in person, like my direct experience with a person face to face,
Yeah.
and I have no complaints. She was lovely.
I feel like especially with drag queens, it just depends on the night that you meet them.
Yeah.
Really does. Like how drunk are they? Who just finished pissing them off? Things like that. But who is your drag inspiration? Were you inspired by Drag Race in general, or was there a specific queen that you're like, oh my god, this bitch is everything?
I kind of am that person who watched Drag Race before doing drag. Um, and then I would go to see when the Rue Girls would come into town because I realized that you could go see them for free. So I would go. But for me, when I started drag, Aquaria was like my ultimate. And she hadn't been on Drag Race yet.
Oh wow.
So I didn't know, but at the time she had already filmed season 10, but it hadn't aired yet. So for her, it was like her and Trixie Mattel were like it for me. And even now, sometimes like when I look at my face, I see like the two of them like
I was gonna say you are kind of like if Trixie Mattel and Aquaria ran at each other really fast
and
and
like
like
face fucked, you know. But that's like I love the aesthetic, like the sharp, polished, beautiful aesthetic of Aquaria, but like
yeah.
Trixie's just stupidity.
That is so clear. I think that you really captured that and made it completely your own.
Don't mind me. I'm just passing away. Oh my
Oh,
God, can
thank
you
God.
believe
One
it?
less queen to fight over booking.
Right? Even though like neither of us is really fighting for bookings. We're not getting any, but we're not
We're
fighting for any either.
lazily just waiting for them to come our way. But you
Yes.
can't say that every time that you see that a queen has posted quitting drag, taking a break from drag, just died, that you don't get a little spark of joy every time that you see that one of them.
Yeah. Oh, when the girls go away to film Drag Race, I'm like,
Yeah.
great, more for us.
More of these tip spots for the rest of us. This room is not going
Yay.
to be taking any of those anymore away
Oh
from
my
us.
gosh. Can you believe we've already approached the halfway point of the program?
Oh my God, just like that.
We didn't talk about anything.
I mean, I feel like we talked about everything.
I don't remember any of it. Wow. We'll be right back with more with Tiffany Vogue. Don't go anywhere. Hi, and welcome to the ASMR ad break. This is the soothing sound of you giving this podcast a nice review and a 5-star rating. This is you doing the same 5-star rating with a full set of acrylics. And now, here's the sensuous sound of you sharing this podcast with all of your friends. Now, here's the sound of you sharing this podcast with all your friends with a fresh set of acrylic nails. Wasn't that nice? Feel free to try it for yourself after this episode. Now back to the show. Welcome back. We're back with Miss Tiffany Vogue. Tiffany, do you have any medical experience or training?
I have rearranged people's internal organs.
Great. I have an ingrown that I'd like for you to take a look at.
Oh my goodness. Right here in front of all of our listeners?
I do have one on my inner thigh. And
how convenient.
It's like it's very painful, and it's not getting better because my thighs are so thick and juicy that when I walk it like rubs.
Do you want me to suck the venom out of it?
I don't know if that would work because of the bacteria.
Hey, I've had nastier shit in my mouth.
Me too, bitch. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I just don't know why it won't like come to a head or anything, and I might just take some tweezers and start fucking with it later.
Oh yeah, just start dissecting yourself.
I love doing that.
Yeah, digging around inside yourself.
Mm-hmm,
You like that?
Yeah. Exactly that. Speaking of digging around inside yourself, perfect segue. You're from Colorado?
I am, yeah.
See how good I am at transitioning?
You're the best.
Wow. So why Colorado? Why would you choose to be from there?
Oh, God. I think it's probably all of the hyper religious conservative rednecks. I think that's what really drew me to the area.
Well, they suck the best dick, famously. So.
Yeah, all those Republican politicians really know how to go down on a man.
Oh yeah, they know, bitch.
Yeah, but I was actually so sick and tired of living out in Colorado, mostly because the nearest gay on Grinder was always 50 miles away and definitely like a three. And on top of that, I was so tired of scraping ice off of my windshield every morning.
Mm-mm.
I decided the day that I turned 18, I was going to move over to California to play in a different type of snow.
Ooh, okay, that explains a lot. So, uh, so you started drag before you moved to California?
Uh, yeah, I did. I started drag before I moved to California. I started drag at 18 because I'd already come out, and I was looking for a new way to disappoint my parents. So I figured I would order a wig in the mail and make sure that they were the ones to open it. And I was doing shows at a club that doesn't exist anymore called Club Q. And
Aw.
yeah, and I had a really great drag community out there that was really supportive and loving and like nurturing, and uh they were more than happy to get me included even just as a baby queen in all these different shows and teach me how to paint and how to do hair and all that jazz. And and it felt like a real family. My favorite part about doing drag back then was just being around these really great people. And then I moved to California and it was sort of like the opposite. So yeah, but I've been very fortunate and I've been able to find just a couple gemstones out in LA that are still give me that warm tingly feeling every time I get to work with them. So I'm so grateful for every queen that's not a massive uh cunt.
Oh, so not glitterous. Okay.
Oh no, she's the worst. I'm obligated to work with her every Tuesday strictly by contract.
Oh yeah, and she did cover for me at the time that I was getting my surgery. So thanks, glitterous. Just kidding.
That almost broke us, that trip out to West Covina, me driving her all the way.
I
We
could
got
not
stuck in
imagine.
traffic. It was like 3 hours. It was like 3 hour commute, two drag queens locked in a clown car all the way to West Covina. And
Oh
by
my
the end of the
gosh.
trip, I think that I was strongly considering leaving her in West Covina.
Oh, I would have adopted her. I'd give her a job,
Oh,
cleaning
gave
and
her a
sewing.
job cleaning your ingrowns,
Mm-hmm. My lace fronts and my
scraping the
ingrowns.
barnacles off of your inner thigh.
Someone's got to do it. I don't have the flexibility anymore.
Oh my
That
god.
is
What is your
crazy.
strange addiction?
Um, huh. Strange addiction. Um, that's interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything really gross. I suppose you know what I really like to do? I like a sweet treat several
Mm.
times a day.
Oh.
Is that the grossest? I mean, that's not gross, but it's probably not that strange.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna kill you.
Wait, do you have a strange thing?
God, my strange addiction, probably double penetration.
Doing it or being penetrated doubly?
I wish I had the flexibility to sit on a traffic cone, but I don't. So I'll be applying it to someone or I'll be watching from the closet.
Oh.
I don't have one day I would like to be able to work my way up to that, but I feel like I gotta wait until I'm like in my golden years before I start taking double dicks, or my booty hole's just gonna fall out every time I cough. Did you know that that happens? Did you know that multiple times there have been cases where people have been sitting down on the airplane toilet and flushed while they were
No.
sitting down, and their rectum has been pulled out from inside of them because of the suction? Did you know that? Don't keep your thighs
I'm
together
so
if you
scared. I
do
keep coughing. Oh my god. Let me
Have
just
you
check in
ever
with my
had your
rectum.
rectum fall out? Because that's a common thing. Well, not super common, but it's a thing that happens in the gay community where like they can push their butthole out. Like if you've taken enough massive dicks in your day or massive
Hmm.
dildos, you can push out your hole. Have you ever pushed out your hole?
No, I'm not popular enough to have that.
You don't have to be popular. I said sex toys. Life finds a way.
I hope you know every time I cough now, I'm gonna like check in with my rectum, make sure it's still there.
If nothing else, your booty hole is definitely winking at us every time you cough.
Yeah, she does make it wink for daddy, famously. So you do the double penetrating with your husband usually, or just whomever?
Anybody who's willing to join in on the fun. I'm a big, like, people ask me what my hobby is and like what I like to do when I'm not doing drag. And if I'm not working to keep the voices at bay, I am just a total hoe, and it is always twink season. I'm always out there looking for gays. I like to go to the bathhouse, the Korean spa, the nude beach, wherever I can see a naked man. Every time Jordan coughs, take a shot. We're turning this into a
Oh my
drinking
god.
game.
I've been muting my microphone on my like thing so you can't hear all the coughs. But I am actively passing away as we speak. Um I love a nude beach. Love a nude beach. Never been to a bathhouse. I hope to.
You should, especially in LA. That's one of the best parts about living in LA. When I was in other cities, like they never have any of these like cruisy bathhouse areas. Like they have gay bathhouses, but they don't have like Korean spas. Korean spas are like
Oh
less,
yeah.
yeah, they're less like specifically the Century one. You should definitely go to the Century one if you live in LA because that's like a really cruisy, like everybody there is gay, everybody there is looking. It's a good in between because if you go to a gay bathhouse, it's just super creepy. It's usually pretty dirty. It's nothing but like creepy old men trying to like non-consensually throw you up against the wall. But in the Korean spas, it's a lot more casual. It's very relaxing. Everything's clean. And so I highly recommend Century Spa in Los Angeles if you're listening and you happen to be in the area. Just don't go on a night that I'm there.
I'm so sorry to change the subject, but I my rectum just fell out. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
you need me to push it back in for you?
Yeah, use your toe. Gross. Um, I was in Chicago recently and I didn't go to Steamworks, and now I think I probably should have made time for that.
You should have. I mean, what else? There's no better way to spend an evening than getting completely demolished in a steam room.
It really does sound fun. I'm putting it on my bucket list. One day it'll happen.
Everybody deserves a gangbang at least once a year.
I agree. I'm
That's my
very much
Christmas
into
wish.
that. That's a great Christmas wish. Don't buy gifts for anybody. Just go to the gangbang. Wait,
Oh,
didn't you used to go dance?
I did used to go dance. I as recently as last year, I was go dancing every week at the Abbey. Um, and that was a lot of fun. But uh I just I became so overwhelmed with all of the different drag gigs that I had going on, and that was my primary objective.
Yeah.
So I ended up just letting go of that for a while. I might pick it up again since it is the slow season, but also girl, go dancing outside in the cold in your underwear at the Abbey in fucking December, January. It's not fun.
No. Is the money better than drag or no?
Not for me, but
For the
for
straight
the
guys.
extra handsome straight men that do steroids, I'm sure they make really good money.
That is crazy. Do you like do you ever run out of dance moves? I feel like you just kind of stand there. Like, what do you do?
Go-go dancing is a completely different animal than like actual dancing. Like when I'm performing in drag and like somebody wants to see a dancing drag queen, like they expect you to be turning it out like Britney, like some
Yeah.
snappy, hot, sexy choreography. Go-go dancing is really just like doing sexy repetitive moves. It's much more like something that you would see at like a hip hoppy Zumba class where it's very repetitive. You're just doing the same dance moves over and over again that are like flexing your muscles and like happen to be like shaking your ass a little bit, maybe like a sensual grind. Like you could body roll all night and nobody's gonna be like, that's not an original dance move, or
Oh
that's
yeah.
not a split.
Yeah, and then there are the Go-Go Boys who are fully doing death drops and splits, like work,
There are.
bitch.
And it's too much. I can't. Like, we need to make we need to make queer entertainment lazy again.
I support this. I've been
We don't
trying.
need to be out there bruising our kneecaps for $5. Sex work
No.
is supposed to be the easy way out.
And you've seen the viral clips of all the girls like breaking their backs.
Yeah, climbing up on a table and busting their hip. You know how many death drops it's going to cost to get that hip replaced?
Girl, and they don't have insurance.
They sure the fuck do not.
I'm not sure why I keep dying, but this is the end.
I
I'm
think there
certain of
must
it.
be a new Supreme, and that's why you're fading away.
Does that imply that I was at one point the Supreme and just didn't know?
Yeah. Nobody informed you. Oh, what was your first impression? What was your first impression of me?
Well, I have no memory of meeting you. Wait, when was? Because we had done something together, like a show, right?
I would say just like the first time that you actually remember, like what was the vibe in the room? What was the vibe of,
Um,
like our conversations? Because I'm always curious about how I come across
wait.
to people.
Was it before Golden Girls?
I think that it was we did one show at Hugo's before we started doing the Golden Girls show in Beverly
Yes,
Hills.
but we had met before Hugo's, but it was before COVID. It
Oh, where did we meet before COVID?
might have been Saddles.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I probably didn't even talk to you that night. I don't know. No, I would have talked to you, but it wouldn't have been like probably for a long time because I remember just being super flustered and like trying to get my shit together that night. But I always make a point to talk to everybody in the room who doesn't walk away and ignore me.
No, I remember like we all. It was. I remember that night. All of the queens. We all were like socializing. It was fine. It was fun. Um,
No.
I don't remember much about the gigs before COVID, like bits and pieces of it. But I remember Golden Girls was super fun. I remember I didn't want to do it at first because I was like, no, I want to be beautiful and glamorous. And then I was like, shut the fuck up, just be Sophia. It was
Get
great.
money.
Yeah, it was really fun. I wish it was still happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll come back to LA. That would be really fun.
Yeah,
If they do, and you're listening to this podcast, definitely come to our potential future show that's happening right now. Maybe.
it's so funny and so cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
My asshole keeps falling out.
Do you have any horror stories relating to your sexcapades?
Um, I mean, I've had guys. At one time, we had this guy that was gonna come over, and last minute he was like, "Hey, can I bring a friend?" And we're like, "Who's your friend?" And he sent us a picture, and the friend was hot. So we're like, "Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, all four of us can like do stuff." And it turns out he actually just wanted to hook up with the other guy, but neither
Ah!
of them had a place to go. So they
Ah!
planned this scheme to come and hook up at our place and then fully used our bed, our towels, everything, and just ignored us.
I am gobsmacked. I feel like that is grounds for unaliving. I think that you would have been completely justified picking up a cinder block and just
Yeah.
keep enabling those bitches. I think that that is justified. Oh my God. I actually had a similar situation happen.
Really?
Yeah, I was with I met up with this guy in the locker room at the gym, as you do.
Oh.
And we went down to my car together, and like he was the one who came to me. Like he came to me and he was like, "Hey, like we should totally blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Okay, well, great. Like let's go to my car." Like he was nervous about doing it in the locker room. We went down to my car in the parking garage, and then he opens up Grinder, and then he's like, he finds another guy, and he's like, "Hey, like this guy's really hot. Do you want to like we could go over to his place?" And he's like, "Do you want to come with me? And like we'll go over and we'll hang up like a three-way." I'm like, "We're both here in my car with our dicks out. Like, no, I don't want to go find another guy like third party through you and like
Oh.
Like, you should probably get out of my car now. Like, what are you doing trying to find other men while we're in the middle of hooking up? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Whoa, that's wild.
You came to me. Oh, so
You
frustrating.
know, audacity is at an all-time high.
It really is. It really is. People just don't know how to hook up these days.
Remember the good old days when you wouldn't speak? You would just walk in.
Yeah. Bend them over a dumpster behind the bayou and
Yeah, the Bayou in West Hollywood specifically.
yeah.
Wait, I have to ask you about the time you met RuPaul in 2015. What happened?
Oh, wow. Well, she looked me right in the eye and she said, "You will never be anything. I will never ever make sure I will make sure you never work in this town."
Perfect.
Yeah, and ever since that day, I've tried to be, a drag superstar. No, I met her at she was doing a meet and greet. And
Oh, yes, at that store in
yeah,
LA.
at that candy store. And I was an up and coming little drag queen in the scene. And I actually went to that meet and greet twice. I went uh,
Oh.
one of the years that she was doing it. And then the next year I went back and I did it again. And she just told me that that she absolutely was obsessed with my makeup, which I'm sure she says to everybody who walks in. And she said, "I really, really love your setting powder. That's really what does the best thing to your face because it all just looks so natural and it looks very like soft. And it's definitely the setting powder that does this." And I'm like, "Are you sure that it's?" Yeah, she's like, "You use excellent setting powder. What do you use?" And I said, "Talcum, talcum
Baby
powder."
powder.
Yeah, and um so Rue knows something. She knows a thing about makeup. And so don't spend money. Don't spend money on all those expensive name brand setting powders. Use the RuPaul verified talcum baby powder. But the one question I asked her was, I was like, "What do you look for specifically in your drag race audition videos?" And she said, "The biggest thing that I want to see in your drag race audition videos is," and I'm spilling tea here. All the queens are on the edge of their seats.
They're not listening to this.
She said, "The thing that I really, really want to see in a drag audition tape above anything else is personality." And so I feel like that's not any big secret, but I feel like it's something that I think a lot of queens tend to potentially uh, overlook. I think that they're maybe focused primarily on all the other aspects around drag, and they forget to just really showcase who they are as an individual, as a person. And they just really shove their drag persona to the front, but they forget to show who they are, and like their sense of humor and things like that. So I think that was really solid advice, and it's solid advice
Yeah.
that has kept me off of the show for 8 years.
There it is, folks. There's the secret you revealed.
Yep.
Wow. Can you believe that we are almost to the end of our program together?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't
Our
that crazy?
time has just flown by. This is the most time
Yes.
you and I have ever spoken.
I know, well, because whenever we see each other, we're getting to the gig, getting on stage, doing the show, and then leaving.
Yeah. I always try to be friendly and cordial at events because I don't want anybody to think that like I'm being quiet or like a bitch. But in my mind, I'm always very flustered at any event and in the middle of a social anxiety attack. And so any time that I set aside for a friendly chit chat is always like uh because I actually give a fuck about the person I'm working with, and I want to make sure that they're comfortable and happy and doing good because I know I'm not at any given time.
No, it's fine. It's part of the whole process.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to talk about before we go. Did you
Mhm.
live in an RV in 2020?
I did. I did. I was so when the pandemic hit, we were all living in Hollywood, and I was paying Hollywood rent, and all the clubs, and I was doing drag full time at the time. all the clubs shut down. So I was living in Hollywood, paying Hollywood rent and not making Hollywood money. And so I was like, well, fuck this shit. And I moved back to Colorado with my parents when everything was shut down in all of the world because my parents are doomsday preppers. And I'm like, I'll never starve there. And so I was there, and then things were opening up because we had like a couple false starts during the
Mm-hmm.
quarantine and things were like, oh, we're, everything's fine. It's been a month. We're going to reopen. And so I was like, okay, well, great. I don't have the responsibility of paying rent. I will take what money I have in my savings and I'll buy a really nice RV. It was an A-class motorhome with like pop outs, queen size bed, double door refrigerator, a bathtub. It was a really great place. It had more storage than my one bedroom apartment in Hollywood. And I got this bus and I was like, I've done a bunch of tours across the US before. I'm just going to drive from city to city, very AJ and the Queen style, and do drag shows and bring, all my wigs, all my costumes and stuff. And I know a bunch of queens and show producers in each city. I'm going to do that. And so I got the bus. I started driving. I did a couple shows. And then the world shut down again. And I was like, well, shoot. But it was so nice while it lasted because you could go to the show. I could get wasted at the show and then stumble out into the parking lot directly into a queen size bed, wake up the next morning and fry myself up some eggs without ever leaving the parking lot. It was fantastic while my boyfriend's throwing up in the bathroom on our RV. And
Wow.
and then after everything shut down again, I was like, well, now I own an RV. And I'm like, I can't tour. So I'm going to go and just park my RV at an RV resort on on the beach in San Diego. And I lived on the beach for the rest of the quarantine. And I would just go down to the beach, the nude beach, every day and choke on dingling for the rest of quarantine.
Wow.
It
Do you
was a
still have it?
quarantine was the best year of my life.
Where's the RV now?
I sold it to a family member, and so one day I'll inherit it again, maybe.
Wow. They got the RV and all the cum that's in it.
They have no idea how much corn was filmed in that
I don't remember eating corn.
RV.
That's right. You did do like,
There was a little OnlyFans era, but it
yes.
didn't last. And if it did, I wouldn't still be hosting bingo for gambling addicts
That's true.
at a dive bar.
Well, that brings us to the cosplay of it all and the
Yeah,
prosthetics of it
mhm,
all.
yeah,
Did you
yeah.
just like watch a tutorial and start making these Star Wars headpieces?
Yeah, so during the quarantine when I needed money, I was like, well, I'm not going to get a job because that sounds horrible. Uh,
Yeah.
so instead, I'm like, I'm going to open an Etsy shop and I'm going to sell these cosplay silicone prosthetics. So what I did is I had already been taking some classes before quarantine on how to do silicone molding and things like that. And so I just brushed up on some of my skills, watched a couple how-to videos, and I've always been very crafty. I make a lot of my own drag. And there was a specific Star Wars character that I am obsessed with, and nobody made her prosthetics, her Montrals. She was the character that Ahsoka Tano is based off of, and so I started making these prosthetics because I was the only one in the market. People had to pay whatever price that I slapped on them. And so I would sell each of these headpieces for $1,500 a pop. And I've shipped them all over the world. And I was able to live off of that during the quarantine, just making my little meth lab of chemicals in my tent at the RV resort on the beach
Aw.
in San Diego um, for the whole quarantine. And so I would ship those out. And I have shipped those to Australia and to Germany and to Italy and all over the US. And so my headpieces are all over the world. And it was fun. I got to paint them and everything. Felt like I was living my own little Bob Ross moment, painting those little headpieces and
Aw.
hallucinating.
There's a market for that, and you could totally make different kinds. Do you still do it?
I still do it, especially during the cold months when drag is slow. I have my little Etsy shop and I sell those Star Wars cosplay Shakti Montreal headpieces.
Wow. Look at
Yeah.
you. Hustling, making it work.
How about that?
Can't relate. I'm trying. We're making it work. We're doing things. We have a bingo.
Yeah.
At Temple Bar in West Covina coming up this coming Wednesday. If you're listening to this episode on the day it comes out, the 29th. Are we doing Christmas?
We're doing Christmas, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, let's do some Christmas shit.
Yeah, it's
I'm
post
excited.
Thanksgiving, so I feel like
It's safe.
within the season.
It's fine. Put some Jingle Bells on a Dua Lipa song. We'll be all right. I might.
I bet you will.
We'll see. I'll see what I have in my repertoire.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Darling.
I love the Christmas season. I'm so stoked for all of the Christmas songs.
I'm happy that you're excited for Christmas.
I just dropped an irresponsible amount of money on a bunch of new Christmas attire, so I'm not gonna make it back, but I'm gonna look good being
That's
broke.
all that matters. That's all that drag is about. It's operating at a loss and looking great.
Truer words have never been spoken.
It is very true. Wow. We've approached the end of our time together. Aww. Will you tell the people of the internet where they can find you?
You can find me on the TikToks at the Tiffany Vogue, where I do readings of really awkward Bible stories that the church doesn't want you to know. And you can find me on the YouTubes, where I do my serving deconstruction videos, where I maliciously attack right-wing conservative politicians and religious leaders. And you can find me doing my Bible studies. These are both available on YouTube at the Tiffany Vogue. I do Bible studies with the iconic Denver diva, Jessica Lahore. We are both hilarious, and you should definitely check out those Bible study highlights on my YouTubes.
Yes, all of that will be linked below. So you don't even have to type it. You can just go down in the description and tap all the links and find Tiffany.
Oh, you can also find my Instagram is at Ms. Tiffany Vogue if you want to see all my gorgeous pictures I spend so much money on.
Yes. We love a beautifully airbrushed cross-dresser. I guess I'll do my outro now. Buckle up. So, you can follow the podcast at HeyGirlPod on Instagram. That's HeyGurlPod. You can email the podcast at heygirlpod@gmail.com. You can call me and leave me a voicemail at 424-431-1456. All of your voicemails will be revealed in future episodes. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You can follow me at Jordan Jayro everywhere. That's JordanJayro. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. I am taking a break from my mental health to focus on my social media. So if you could follow us both, that would be great. Isn't that fun? Wow. Tiffany, thanks for chatting on a random afternoon. Thank you for doing this, and I appreciate you. Any final thoughts?
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Oh, wait, she's dyslexic. She meant Santa. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time, have a fabulous life. Bye-bye. Play him out. Yeah. Bye.